This is Chie Satanaka, and you're listening to the Giant Sword Podcast. You better eat more meat.
Hello, and welcome to this week's Giant Sword Podcast. I'm your party leader, Nick. Joining me, as always, is Taylor.
What up?
And Shadow.
Hey, well, how's it going?
How's it going, everybody? It's been a nice, calm 2 weeks, Nothing really do.
Yeah, no news. There's been some games that have come out, not in the way of JRPGs, but we had that big rush, and now we just wait for Nier.
I mean, there's a ton of cool news coming out, but a lot of it's not JRPG related.
When does Nier come out?
Couple weeks, I think. I want to say, oh god, yeah, it's near the end of the month. I don't know specifically though.
End of April?
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to that game?
I don't know. I want to play it, but I'm in no rush to actually, get it and sink my teeth into it.
Yep. No, I hear you. I mean, I liked Nier Automata plenty, and then I feel a little burnt out on reviews right now, so I'm just looking at that. I'm like, do I want to make a video about that? No, because it was like back to back games, and so now I'm just like, nope, I'm good.
Not today, Zerg.
That's right.
It's kind of like it looks good. It looks good from an action standpoint, but it's like, I don't need to spend. How long is the game? Probably like what, 30 hours or something like that, 25 hours?
I mean, I don't know. It's not but I mean, it's a remake, so we could probably figure it out. But
IGN already has a review out.
Oh, really? Really? Wow.
Yeah, they do.
So it's a remake, and it's from the PS3 era, so it's probably about 6 hours long.
That's true. Yeah, it can't be that long. Let me see how long the first one took to beat.
Oh, who's gonna win? Yeah, it says about 20 hours on how long to beat.
Yeah,
for the main story, which is, it says 21 for Nier Automata, but like Automata had all these like weird, like you could beat the game by going in the wrong direction, getting like a joke ending,
Yeah,
so,
I'm sure that's like all the endings, probably A through Z. I'm thinking, or at least the main one, which I forgot which one the main one was. But I beat that. I beat all three stories, so I was good with the game.
yeah, same. Yeah, I got a couple joke endings here and there, but I got the quote unquote real ending or whatever.
There's probably a good amount of people out there that just did 2Bs and they just put the game down.
I know, that's funny because it's like, you're not even close.
Yeah, exactly. Which I'll admit, because I do remember when I played it, it's tempting to say, "Oh, I beat the game." That's pretty much it. But I'm like, nah, no. Still gotta go through 9S and then I go through A2. So we'll go with that. Which I didn't like on 9S's opening mission because I kept dying like 3 times. If you die anywhere during the stage, you gotta start the whole damn stage all over again, cutscenes included.
Yeah, there's a level in 2B's playthrough where you're going up this tower and it's the same way. There's no saving, there's no autosave. You have to start from the beginning if you die. And I'm like, oh my god, this is
so annoying.
Which I blame modern gaming for spoiling us like that. Because I remember back in the day, starting from the beginning was normal.
And yeah, but we have a LHG cast of Taylor quitting Nier Automata twice, specifically at that point.
Yep.
Oh man,
that was funny. If someone could find that episode, good luck, because I don't know where those podcasts are. I think there's some on this channel.
And I can't remember if it was that or Giant Sword Podcast. I can't remember, but either way, definitely rage quit.
Speaking of rage quit, I haven't rage quit on anything. I haven't really been playing anything. Just messing around with Unreal Tournament. That's what fun.
Unreal Tournament.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Some classic games. That's because of Connor, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like last week I went over to Connor's house and he was like, "Hey, you have Unreal Tournament?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I have Unreal Tournament." And he's like, "Bring over your laptop. Let's see if we can play." And we played some LAN, and we're having a lot of fun. So I bought a server, and now I have a server on Unreal Tournament for me and Connor to play.
Wow.
So Connor and I
That's
can play. I mean,
awesome.
anyone could join. It's just funny that I just remember like always wanting a server, and now when I look at it, it's like, oh, it's only $10 a month for a 10-man server. That's cheap. A lot cheaper than I thought it was gonna be. It's cool. And then you know how I bet you've been in this mode before, where you're not really into playing some JRPGs. You just want to play other things, decompress kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I'm
Uh,
doing. I know.
I
I
don't
know.
think I've ever felt
Yeah, I
that
know.
way.
Shadow has never had that.
I could play JRPGs all day, every day.
Yeah. So
All day, every day.
I've been playing a lot of shooters and stuff like that. But big but like this.
And you can't lie.
Yeah, and I've been playing JRPGs as well, but not like super into them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just they're there. They're in the background. I'm still playing. Oh, good times though. So there was a big release, and there was a game that came out. Monster Hunter Rise. Only one of us has played it, and I know Maddie's super into it right now because she listened to Monster Hunter. But Taylor cannot shut up about this game.
Yep.
So can you please explain to me your thoughts, or to us, give us your thoughts on Monster Hunter Rise?
Yeah, I mean it's good. They built off Monster Hunter World by they seem to slowly be getting rid of like the hardcore aspects of Monster Hunter, and they seem to be continue to like casualize that. And that sounds negative, but that's to me, I think it's
Wait, do you hear that?
yeah, that's Leonard. Is that Leonard?
Leonard is screaming right now. Holy crap!
For those who don't know, Leonard is a friend of ours who is way too into Monster Hunter. He's like, just give it 100 hours and then it gets good. He's one of those guys. Or that he said that's when it starts getting good or something.
And he hates Monster Hunter World, like loathes it.
Really?
Because they casualized Monster Hunter.
Oh, then he probably doesn't like Rise very much because they casualized it even more.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't like Rise as well.
Like,
yes.
What do you guys mean by like they casualized it? Like, what's one of the things? Are it like quality of life changes, or just making things overall?
Oh, it's
easier?
quality. It's quality of life changes because the core gameplay is the same. You still gotta hunt. You still gotta fight with the same monster over and over. But like, okay, here's an example. So in Monster Hunter World, they added these things called scout flies, where let's say you're on a quest to hunt a Rathalos. That's like the series monster everybody knows. It's a big dragon. And so what it would do is as soon as you start the level, these scout flies just go off and you have to follow them and they'll lead you to the monster. In past games, you'd have to like find footprints and you'd have to like actually hunt the monster. You'd have to find it and stuff like that. But now in Rise, they got rid of scout flies, and now it's just like you pull up the map and it just tells you where the monsters are.
Like another thing is like sharpening your weapon. Before, you actually had to sharpen your weapon with certain rocks to do more damage and stuff like that. And I think in World, it just automatically gives you the sharpening, so you just can sharpen it whenever you want, and I think it gives you the buff the entire time. So there's no reason to get different type of sharpeners. And same with food. I think food buffs are like universal now. Before, like different food give you different buffs, and the better the food, the better the buffs. And I think now it just automatically gives you the buffs depending on like.
Yeah, that's kind of true. So the sharpening is definitely true. So they give you a sharpening stone, and you can use it infinite amount of times, and you don't have to find it. It's just you get it, and then you have it. So food is before you go on a hunt, you have to pick the kind of food you want to cook, and it gives you different kinds of buffs. So you still have to choose. You can only choose 3 different kinds. And then sometimes there's only a percentage chance that it will like proc or whatever, or like activate. So you still have to choose carefully, but But yeah, it's a lot of the more hardcore aspects they got rid of, and I think they made it more fun. So I think they also really it seems like they're just trying to cut down the time from starting a mission to fighting a monster. Because in the last one, like I said, in World, you had to have the scout flies lead you to the monster. You had to walk there. Now you have these things called palamutes, where basically they're just like rideable dogs. And so as soon as the mission starts, you can hop on your dog and you can like sprint to the monster. You don't have to run. You don't have to follow scout flies. You just look at your map and it'll tell you where it is. So it cuts down on that. And then they added this thing called the wire bug, which I think is really cool. It's a cool innovation that has nothing to do with casualizing the game, but it's
It's a new weapon.
basically it's like a tool. It's not really a weapon. So like for example, if you're trying to get up to a ledge, you can launch your bug, and it's like a grappling hook kind of, and you can use that in combat too. Like each weapon has a different like wire bug attack that you can use it for. So I'm using the long sword right now, and I've come across two like wire bug attacks. So one of them is like this move where like it just launches me in the sky, and then I'll just like go straight down and stab the monster. And then another one is it's like a anime slash. You know, sometimes in anime, like it looks like they just slash once, but then the animation, it's like a million cuts or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So it does something like that. So you have to aim it just right, and then you like just zip by the monster, but then it like explodes with a bunch of damage. And then the wire bug can also, if you like set a trap right, you can ride the monster, and you can ride pretty much every monster, I think, or every large monster, which I don't think you could do before. I could be wrong about that.
So is Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Yeah, no, and I gotta say, it is a surprisingly good looking Switch game. Like every time I see like cutscenes or the monsters doing stuff, I'm like, wow, this is like kind of impressive for a Switch game. Because every time you see a Switch game, it's like gimped somehow, or it doesn't look good, or it doesn't run good. This runs really well. It looks pretty great for a Switch game. But yeah, it's just really addicting. It's that loop of like, okay, you fight a monster, you get the parts, you make a new piece of gear. Now I got to fight a harder monster. And to fight the harder monster, I need to like build out armor sets and get different weapons with different weaknesses. So it's just like this never ending loop of I need to constantly be fighting harder monsters and getting different gear to fight the harder monsters. So, and you know, it's fun too, because there's a social component. That's what I loved about when I played World, is everybody was playing and we were always on Discord playing together. So the other day, actually, Shadow, I was playing with Blake, who's on your podcast, and yeah, we were playing together, and that's always fun. So,
Nice.
So I could say that you're really into this game.
Yeah, so I've put about 35, 40 hours so far.
Yeah, Maddie was like, "Hey, Nick, does Taylor not have a life? Because whenever I start playing Monster Hunter, he's online."
Yeah, I mean, so right now I'll say this. That's pretty much all I did this last weekend. I had every intention of like, oh, I'm going to work on the channel and work on some videos and stuff. Nah, it didn't happen. I just played Monster Hunter pretty much sun up to sundown, and then
See? That's what I'm like. I'm after work. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to work on the channel. I'm going to update some stuff. I'm going to make some videos. And then I fall asleep for 6 hours. Every day.
And honestly, I want a game that's like that. That's like that for me as it is for Taylor and Monster Hunter. Like the last couple of games I played, like they low key felt like obligations almost. Like I think what was it, Atelier Ryza? Like I like Ryza, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the game, but it's like I didn't go out of my way to play. I just played it because it was a new game out at the time, and I guess I had to play it. And then it took me forever to beat Persona 5 Strikers. That was a game that I literally took off for like 3 days, almost to a week, and I didn't even play it. I didn't care, which is interesting because I love Persona 5. I don't think it's as good as Persona 4, but definitely is the best Persona game I think in the series. But Strikers is just, even though it was good, I just felt no priority to play it, to play it and get it out the way. It almost felt like a chore to finally get it done. I had to say to myself, all right, after you're done with your day and stuff like that, sit down at the computer, open up Persona 5 Strikers, and don't stop until you beat it. Like I've never had that problem before with any games I've played. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking for that game. I'm looking for that game.
I just remember, I think it was last week. I just always saw you on Persona 5 Strikers. I don't know if you were just left the game on.
No, I left the game on. I
Yeah.
definitely left the game on for like a good. I left the game on for like a good 3 days. That's why Steam has it as 130 hours I played.
Oops.
Even though the in-game time is only 40 hours. So like,
That's
damn,
funny.
you was running for that long. I didn't even see it down there. I was like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Just on Discord, it's like Persona 5 Strikers. I'm like, man, Shadow's really into this game.
No, definitely not. I mean, I was into it, but not really into it. So let me ask you guys a question. When you guys talk about Monster Hunter Rise and the quality of life, it seems, now I guess we're not applying to all the quality of life changes, but it seems that most of them are just time savers for the most part. And why is it people like I forgot you guys' friend, they just can't, get over the fact that, it's just, why should I spend 30 minutes getting from point A to point B, or 30 minutes to hunt down this monster when I could just do it in like 5 minutes? Now I guess that takes away the fun from hunting down the monster, but just in general, when it comes to just time saving things in JRPGs, I feel like sometimes we're really defensive about that stuff. Like that, like most of the time JRPGs are padded out for like 60 hours or something like that, when you could probably just end up being a JRPG in maybe 10 hours less if you had some quality of life changes.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I think the biggest, we may have talked about this in the last episode, or I know we've talked about it before, but the one that stands out to me is Xenoblade Chronicles. When they did the definitive edition, I looked at the hour discrepancy. I'm like, why are people beating this game so much faster? And you guys are like, dude, the first game, this map was horrible. You're just like lost and you didn't know where you were supposed to go and stuff. I'm like, that's amazing to me.
So is that casualizing the game?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that's making it better. I'll be honest with you. I never played any of the older Monster Hunters, so I don't know how integral, like the actual hunting, like how, like did you have to use different tools to hunt them and to lure them and stuff like that? Like I just don't remember how it was. But to me, the fun of Monster Hunter is just fighting the monster, getting the gear, fighting them again. So like I think it's to the benefit of the game that they're like cutting out all the crap in the middle. And plus, riding around on your little dog is fun. And so when you're playing solo, your dog fights with you. Actually, when it's multiplayer, your dog fights with you too, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
Well, being, speaking on Leonard's point, Leonard is a super in-depth Monster Hunter fan. Like he loves Monster Hunter. So if he hates Monster Hunter World, there's obviously something that they changed that really messed with what he liked about Monster Hunter. So I get that. But Leonard's also a curmudgeon.
That's also true.
So
what is that?
He's angry at everything. He's never happy with anything. Everything sucks. Everything's the worst.
He's like that. So I think it's like there is a point, like his point is valid, but he's also really like it's overblown kind of thing. Like he shouldn't be that. He shouldn't be that mad, but I could see why he's mad, because they're changing some things that he liked about the old Monster Hunters, and they made some systems in Monster Hunter World and probably Rise now like meaningless. Like why are they even there if if they're not really in depth? Just like then push button to eat kind of stuff,
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's like really. I can't. You have to find another in-depth Monster Hunter guy, because yeah, I mean, Leonard is super, like, has contacts within Capcom he could talk to about Monster Hunter, so he's able to complain straight to their faces, which is really funny.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I'm sure there are other people that probably feel the way he does, probably not to his extreme. But hey, these changes, they help the series. This game sold just as much as the world, it seems. So
that was exactly what I was going to say next. I mean, when Monster Hunter World becomes your company's best-selling game, you kind of just have to follow the money at that point, you know?
Yeah.
And like you said, it is Rise has been like a smash hit in Japan. I mean, that so far worldwide it sold 5 million already, which is really, I mean, that's pretty phenomenal success, I would say. And I don't think it's slowing down. I could see it, you know, selling 10 million at least by the end of the year. You know, wait for a sale, whatever. You know, maybe that new that fabled Switch Pro or whatever the hell they're going to call it if that comes out. So yeah, I think it's fun. I will say that the scope, obviously, the levels aren't as big, and I think that's probably just because of the Switch. Like, it just doesn't have the horsepower that like a PS4 does, or a PS4 and Xbox for that matter. But I think this is the future. I was talking to Blake, your buddy Blake, and he's a big Monster Hunter guy. And I was like, do you think this is kind of the direction they're going? Like, do you think they're just going to continue to add these quality of life things and continue to quote unquote casualize it? He's like, oh yeah, you know, like we were saying with, you know, how well it's selling, and some of it is just genuinely fun, like I was talking about with the wire bug, how you can move around the environments and stuff. And so
See, there's
yeah.
there's a point where you too casualize it, and that's when you get the new Fire Emblem game, where the tactical gameplay is not really there. It's just
It's about the waifu simulating or
they just
whatever.
focused
Yeah.
on the visual novel stuff, and it's like, no, go back a little, make Fire Emblem hard, and make it a good strategy game again. But
I think it still is a good strategy game. I mean, what do I know? I only played. Oh, I only started with Awakening. I do still think the strategy is there, especially towards the latter chapters of recent Fire Emblem games. But yeah, the waifus do, you know, put the series on the map, so to speak, and some of the quality of light changes. Not even quality of light changes. I know Fire Emblem Three Houses, they gave you a game mechanic that allows you to turn back turns, which is just yeah, it's a lifesaver. I gotta admit, I could deal without it, but if they're gonna give me it and I can't turn it off, why am I not gonna use it? Sometimes I don't know if my attack is gonna hit or if it's gonna miss, and it does save it. Again, we come back to time saving. It does save me time when that one crucial unit takes out that enemy unit instead of missing and fucking me over completely, because that happened to me a couple of times.
that's
So,
that feature has been in strategy games for a while, for like Tactics
has it?
Ogre. Yeah, Tactics Ogre has it. I think that's just like a thing in Tactics Ogre. I think Project Triangle Strategy have it?
No.
Did not?
No, it doesn't. Like the only one I literally only thought that was only in Fire Emblem Three Houses, but then I played Shadows of Valentia, whatever, for a little bit. It's also in there, so I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess this is modern Fire Emblem now, to be able to go back in turns, which I could definitely see a veteran Fire Emblem player getting a little bit upset as it's in there, and he can't brag to his friends that, oh, I beat this game. Well, anybody can beat Fire Emblem. They can just turn back turns if they mess up something.
So you want to know the what's it called? The results of casualization.
Mm-hmm.
People who play Call of Duty, or let's just say the death of arena shooters. Put people who play shooters now into playing like Unreal Tournament and Quake. They put them against a good player. They'll quit the game because they don't want don't want to spend the time to actually get good at the game, because it actually takes time to get good at. You don't just run and shoot and kill everything in one hit. You actually have to know how to move, know the maps, know when things spawn, know where things are, know what weapons to use in certain situations. And it's just like, it sucks. Like, it's cool that gaming has a lot more people playing it, but it
Mm-hmm.
sucks when the quality of games is not as good as the older ones.
Yep. But yeah,
And like, I really want a good arena shooter, but everyone loves Fortnite and Call of Duty. And I'm not saying like those are bad games. It's just like, try other games. Like, it's stop casualizing everything, make it easier so everyone, when there's actually mechanics you have to learn, it's too difficult for them. That's what happened with Quake Champions. Quake Champions was like super fun, but it's super high skill ceiling.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it's just like you play someone and you're just like, oh well, I'm gonna die instantly. But it's fun because it's like you have to get past that to actually get good, and I enjoy that. It's like, I mean, like Taylor, if you played a game and you were into it, right? But to play online, you would get like your ass kicked every single game for like the next 10 games, right? And these are like complete ass wipes. Like you're just getting your butt handed to you. How would you
Yep.
feel?
I mean, it would
you would feel demoralized, right?
Sure.
Like for example, I got Connor to play Apex Legends, and he was getting his like. I was like, okay, this is his first battle royale. I'm like, okay, this game you're gonna play, and you're just going to lose. You are not. You're going to find a team, and you're just gonna die instantly because you got to learn how to play the game. And he was getting so, Connor is. He was getting really pissed off and really annoyed, and he was like, "Man, this is so lame. I hate this. It's so stupid." But he stuck with it, and he's really enjoying Apex Legends. Like,
nice.
It's just like it's funny because he was super pissed. I was like, "Oh man, I gave him a game that like he doesn't like at all." But I leave his house, and he sends me pics over the night. He's like, "Yeah, I won this game. And look how I did this game." I'm like, wow, he's actually enjoys playing the game. It's cool to see.
The interesting thing is that I think like most gamers or gamers being brought up now, they don't have that mentality. They want that quick fix. They want that instant gratification. They don't want to actually put in the work to, get good, so to speak, at a game. And I can understand that, but the problem is companies are catering towards that individual because they far outnumber the people who actually want to get good, who actually want to try and get better at the game. And as a result, you get casualization pretty much as a result. And you gotta decide if that's what we want for the series, because I'm sure we mentioned it before. I'm sure you guys heard about it before. If Fire Emblem Awakening didn't do what it did with its waifu simulator stuff, it'd be gone. Fire Emblem would be gone. We probably still wouldn't have Fire Emblem game at this point. Well, maybe, who knows?
Yeah, but Fire Emblem Awakening was like Joan d'Arc, so
Yeah.
it was still strategy and it's still good. It wasn't like super dumbed down. It wasn't like the Game Boy Advance games. Holy crap, those games were hard.
Yeah, exactly.
But
but then you probably get like a case like Valkyria Chronicles. Valkyria Chronicles 1, I wouldn't say it was simple. It was something definitely different. But as you kept going through the series, they kept adding stuff to it to make the battles more fun and more complicated. And then when you get to cover Valkyria Chronicles 4, they decided to dial it back a bit. So people wouldn't get overwhelmed with all the mechanics they added in 3 and 4. So they went back to their roots in Valkyria Chronicles 1. So, everybody can pretty much, I guess, enjoy it, and it could be a lot more simpler. But as a result, you don't push the series forward. So it's a weird give and take on this one.
Yeah, no, it is, and I think Fire Emblem does a pretty good job of riding that line, because it still does have, you can pick your difficulty and you can pick whether, if there's permadeath or not permadeath, which definitely ups the challenge. So I can appreciate that they're trying stuff, but I think some games that like don't have a difficulty option, like, I mean, this is old at this point, but as an example, like Ni no Kuni 2, I remember when that came out, it was just so easy.
it was so easy. Oh my gosh.
And they eventually, I think they added a hard mode or something, but yeah, it was definitely way too easy.
Man, I forgot that game. Like, what was the point of it? You went to different towns and then you fought like a boss at the town to join your kingdom or something? Oh, no. Yeah, what was the point of the game?
I mean, so you're your kingdom got overrun by like the rat people or whatever, and so you were trying to go you're trying to make a new kingdom essentially, and so you were like pulling these people from all over the world, and then you had your town, right? And then you would slowly build your town up. So I think that was generally the point, was to whatchamacallit, yeah, have a new kingdom.
trying to remember the story of that game.
That was it. That was pretty much it.
That was pretty much it.
So here's the story. A president is in New York, and New York gets bombed, gets nuked.
It gets nuked, yeah.
That's the story. And people might think we're joking, but that's literally how the game opens.
The game opens, there's a president, and I don't think he gets nuked, but he gets bombed because he goes back to that world.
That's true. Spoilers, I guess.
Damn, spoilers. My God.
I'm sorry. But yeah, like right at the beginning, it was just funny because it's like I didn't expect to have like a real world thing, but like right at the beginning, seeing some guy in a car, and then suddenly, okay, this a bomb.
Yeah. And suddenly he's easy-kai'd to a different world.
Literally, yeah.
All right. So let's this is actually, we were kind of getting into it, casualization of games, but easy mode in games, right?
Yeah.
There's a should we be able to shame people who play easy mode games?
That's kind of a brutal way to ask it.
Yeah, I mean, like, if it's done in, I guess, quote unquote fun, but if you're going and harassing people, that's a different case. The whole thing started because this one Twitch streamer, and she decided to put out a post or make a tweet about her stream saying that if she wants to play, or if anybody else wants to play a game on easy mode, then let them do so. Don't shame them for doing it. And that caused a lot of traction, a lot of people to talk, which I don't care what you play a game on, honestly. I personally, I care more if you beat the game. But the problem is if you brag about the game and say stuff like, oh, I beat this, I beat that, and it wasn't all that hard and stuff like that, and you played the game on easy. The problem is people can't be trusted, so you don't know what they're actually doing behind the scenes.
The problem is when journalists play in journalist mode, and they're like, this game is too easy and I beat it in 5 hours. Like, yeah, well, you played a game where the enemy doesn't even attack you. So.
Exactly. But I think journalists, they know better than that. Like, if they play on easy and they say that, oh, they know not to say these mechanics are here and you don't do anything with them, they know better than to do that. They'll know to say something like that. Well, if you play on a harder difficulty, you have to use these mechanics, definitely.
In a perfect world, I would believe you, but we don't live in a perfect world. They don't do that. We have Taylor. We have Taylor to do that for us.
That's right.
Taylor is our savior. We need him to be that. He's the hero that we need.
Not the one we deserve, though.
Yes, not the one we deserve.
But yeah, you shouldn't shame somebody if they want to play the game on easy. I tell my dad all the time at this point, like, my dad, he wasn't the greatest gamer even 15 years ago. I gotta say, he wasn't that great. But I tell him now, if you're gonna play a game, he's retired. He has his little man cave down in the basement in Nowheresville, as I like to call it. But he's got his big ass 75-inch TV and stuff like that. Got all the consoles. He doesn't have the latest gen consoles, but he's got all this stuff. And every time, like, when we're playing games at the same time, like, he was playing Final Fantasy VII Remake when I was playing it. And then he told me that he couldn't beat this one boss. I forgot what it was. It wasn't the beginning boss. I forgot what boss it was. But I found that particular boss to be easy. I remember even playing on normal, I thought it was easy. I just said, Dad, just switch the game to easy. Like, don't struggle with games anymore. Like, you're too old to be struggling with games. Like, just play the game on easy and just be done with it, man. Like, start all your games on easy. Just do it that way, man. But I say that, but I don't think Outriders has a difficulty setting. I'm not sure if it does, but he's playing that. He's loving it so far. So
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a sort of Destiny-like game, if I'm not mistaken. One of those
Yeah.
live service MMO shooter kind of things. But apparently it's really popular. I know the servers were down like all weekend. That's like all I was seeing people talking about. Like, oh, the servers, I can't play, whatever. But here's
Yeah.
actually pretty good.
Not the servers. It just come out.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it just came out. Yeah. But going back to easy mode, I don't know. What do you guys think about easy mode? Do you think people should be shamed or shouldn't talk crazy if they play the game on easy mode?
Nah, I don't. I mean, like you said, it's like I think if you want to play easy mode, great. But I also, like you said, with the caveat of don't be bragging like, hey, I mean, this doesn't have an easy mode, but like, hey, I beat Bloodborne or Dark Souls on easy or whatever, and it's like, but like, or for example, like, this is not quite the same thing, but like on the Nintendo Switch, they have these like. They have these like this rewind function. Like if you die in a pit, the game you can like rewind the game or whatever, or like you can like have save states and stuff.
Yeah.
And I saw some people making the argument that that's almost like an easy mode because back in the day, it's like you have 3 lives, and if you die, then you have to start the game over. So that's different. Like if somebody said, "Oh, I beat Ninja Gaiden, but I had the rewind and I had save states," like that's different than like playing the OG NES Ninja Gaiden with no help or whatever, you know. So play games however you want. I don't care, but don't be bragging if you're cheating.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. If you play like one of those NES games on the Switch and it has like save states, and you could just retry at any point, but you're bragging about beating the game, I can't take you. Like I know I can't take you seriously. Like if you tell me you beat Ghosts and Goblins on the Switch, I can't even like. I don't care. Like okay, you beat it, but it's not a big deal at all because you get all these conveniences at your fingertips. Unfortunately, or whatever. Fortunately, I am that old, so I do remember playing those games back in the day. Even Sonic back in the day. If you died and have any continues, you had to go all the way back to the beginning of the game. So, nowadays if somebody does beat one of those types of games, at the end of the day, just don't brag. Don't brag about it.
I want to play Sonic now.
Because then that gives me a reason to tear into you. And you don't want me tearing into you.
Yeah, it's the whole you could play easy mode. I don't really care. But if you play easy mode and you're a public figure like a Twitch streamer, then it's my right to make fun of you.
That's interesting.
Interesting.
If you're a public figure, I have the right to make fun of you.
Interesting. I
should say we have the right to poke fun. Because that's the same thing. Because you're a public figure and you're like, I'm playing a game and it's easy, right? And you're playing it easy, and then they're probably gonna be bags like, yeah, I beat that game. It's like, no, you didn't. You didn't.
That's an interesting take. It's like I can't exactly agree with you, but at the same time I can't disagree with you on that one because it's kind of mean to tell somebody, oh, you don't matter. You played this on easy. You're terrible at it. You played it on normal or something at
terrible.
least. But like at the same time, they should be allowed to play the game however they want.
Exactly. No, they're allowed to. It's like, see, they're allowed to play the game wherever they want, and people are allowed to make fun of them for it. It's called freedom, people. It's called freedom.
So you basically saying you gotta accept the consequences.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever you want, but you gotta accept the consequences.
If you're a public figure and you're playing the game on easy, then just expect people to to poke fun at you. It's just the will of the world, man, and it's never going to change.
That's what they're trying to change. They're trying to change that mentality.
Exactly, and it's not going to happen. It is my God-given right to be an asshole.
God damn. Just let everybody know. Nick's viewpoints does not reflect me and Taylor's.
That's right. That is correct. Thank you for that little asterisk there. Yeah.
I was quoting a movie, and it was Ghostbusters 2, I think, and it was it's everyone's God-given right to be an asshole. I think that was the quote.
That sounds familiar though.
And what's that other quote? I may not agree with what you have to say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it.
See, see that fits my thought perfectly, right?
Yep.
True.
Because
True.
to like, hey, I don't agree with you making fun of that guy, but hey, he put himself up to it for playing easy mode online.
It also depends on the streamer. Like me, I don't brag about my skill in games or anything like that. But you know, if somebody caught me playing a game on easy mode, yeah, they should call me out for it. I'll say that. Just call me out on that bullshit or something like that.
See, when I stream, I tend to play on the hardest difficulty. I was playing the hardest difficulty on what's it? The Evil Within. Don't do it. It is the most painful and frustrating experience ever because the game is just not built for that. But I did it. I did it, and and there was a bunch of clips of me just going, "No, gosh, I can't cut. I'm not gonna cuss as much as I did on there, but it was especially fighting Laura. I think it was Laura, the insta kill spider lady.
Oh, and it's the first Evil Within,
Yeah,
or 2. Yeah,
2 is easy.
she's hard. Yeah, 2 is like, it's almost like it almost plays like Last of Us kind of. It's like a survival game. It's not really a horror game.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't as scary as the first one, but it felt great. The game felt great when you played it.
Yeah, no, it was solid.
See, that kind of reminds me of Nocturne, in which I tell people, don't start Nocturne on hard. Don't do it. It's not worth it. But now, if you play the remaster, I don't care what you start on. If you play it on normal or if you play it on hard, you need to play the original PS2 version to get that full Nocturne experience.
What's the remaster doing?
I think the remaster gives you
They're adding an easy mode, I think.
Yeah, they're adding easy mode, and it also gives you like a save state of sorts, like a quick save or something like that. I think it gives you something like that.
Like
I'm not sure. Yeah, like an auto save. Like I can't remember what it was exactly, but it definitely gives you like something that you don't have to start the whole entire dungeon over if you die, basically.
That's good.
That's good.
I think that's quality of life. I like if that happened to me, if I was playing that game and I died in the middle of a dungeon, I had to start over, I'd just quit the game. I'd be like, nope, fuck this game. I'm done.
I literally almost had. I remember one time I streamed it. It was a tough boss that I had to fight. Really tough boss. I barely beat him by the skin of my teeth. I had no MP left to heal anybody. I had no items left to heal anybody. I go into the boss room. I get a bunch of money, and that's it. And I'm like, wait a minute. I have to run back to the save point. And if I run into any battle, I will die. So that was just like, that was painful. That was really painful. I don't think I died, but that was painful.
So those are the days when if that happens to you, Taylor. That's when you're like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna stop play for like a couple days, and a couple days later, it's like, okay, let's get back to it.
No, I'm just done. There's too many games now. There's too many other games that respect my time better.
Yeah, that's all. It's also like it's also with these easy mode and stuff like that. It's about the time. It's always about time. And again, I've been around long enough to say this, that when I was a lot younger, I would read, because I've been in this gaming stuff, looking at gaming news, looking at gaming articles for the longest time, and I always looked at articles in which they said, as I get older, I don't have time to do all this between the work and stuff like that, and having a wife and kids. I don't have time now. I'm starting to understand that. I get it. I understand it completely now. So
yeah, I mean, I have a video that I made about that, and that was just like a guess. I'm like, okay, so I know a lot of people that watch my channel. Some of them are starting to have kids. Some of them are married. They don't have time. I'm like, what if I made a video about short JRPGs that you like? You still want to get that experience, but you don't have 60, 70, 80 hours to dump into a game. And that's like one of my most popular videos. I'm like, I must have like, struck a chord or something. And it's funny because I've seen people like literally like tweet like, hey, I'm looking for an RPG that's 20 hours or less. I'm like, boy, do I have the perfect video for you, my friend. So I mean, the struggle is real for sure, and like, I don't have kids, I don't have a wife or even a girlfriend at this point. So I have all the time to play, but even still, like, just as a human, as you get older, there's
Yeah,
just like more things that you have, like more responsibility,
exactly.
So it just gets harder.
Responsibilities.
Yep.
And it's
Sometime-
weird because I'm sorry, like we're in the genre that kind of disrespects your time the most. It's weird.
I
It's
know.
the longest game. It's like one of the longest game genres out there, so it's interesting how we like it.
I think it's getting better though, at not wasting your time.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, a little bit. I think some do it like intentionally, like Bravely Default 2 has like save points and stuff like that. You can't just save anywhere. So there's some games do. Some games let you save anywhere and some don't. So, and I think it's like a nostalgia thing or something. It's like back in my day when I'm playing Final Fantasy 9, you had to have the save point or you had to be on the world map or whatever.
Yeah.
Good old days, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Yep.
So speaking of Final Fantasy 9, I actually there was like a Square Enix sale on Steam, and I bought Final Fantasy 8 remastered, Trials of Mana, and Final Fantasy
Trial. Oh, yeah.
Final Fantasy 15 complete Windows edition.
Hmm.
I haven't installed Final Fantasy 15 because I just got that just like, let's try it, see what it's like now. But I'm not in the mood to do that. But I started playing Final Fantasy 8, and oh boy, that game. It's like I get it. Like I was playing it, and it has a boost, like a speed up button, right?
All right.
I feel like that's a curse
Interesting.
because you put it and it feels great. You're like, oh, it's fine, it's really fast. But when you want to slow down, it feels like the game's going in jello, like moving in jello. Like it starts moving really slow, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is how the game normally is. So it kind of poisons your view on it. But yeah, Final Fantasy 8 is actually pretty interesting, and especially since it's all updated models and stuff, it's pretty interesting how it is.
Did you play it back in the day?
No,
Oh, you never played Final Fantasy 8 before.
I have played Final Fantasy 8. I got to which garden? There was some like it was like some maze. It was a garden, and you go into it, and like every screen looks exactly the same, and you had to like pick a right path or something like that. That's where I stopped. I forgot what it was.
Oh, was it a red garden or like it was kind of red inside?
It's a long time ago, and I played
Yeah.
it on the
Mhm.
PSP, and I still don't remember.
Okay.
But I
that's
did.
fine.
I did play through it a little bit.
Gotcha.
But now, actually, I'm starting to like. I don't think I knew how to play it, like the junction system. I didn't get, but now I kind of actually do get the junction system. It's like the summons have like you could level up the summons, and there's a summons level. The summons freaking level up, and you get abilities from them, and you put like the spells or your materia kind of thing, and it's like okay, I get this.
Yeah, it's interesting with the speed up mechanic. Using that system is way more tolerable because like doing it the old way was such a pain. Like just sitting there.
It's like, how do we deal with that?
I don't know. It's a wonderful question.
Like I don't know how we dealt with that, and I don't know how you guys loved Legend of Dragoon back in the day. I remember playing that on PSP, and I was like, this is slow as hell. Like, how did you guys deal with this?
I didn't deal with it. I didn't deal with it at all.
Okay. I thought you
I
guys.
tried-
I thought you guys loved Legend
No,
of Dragoon.
that was all Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried to go back to it recently, and it weirdly enough, it's not the battle system that like is annoying. It's the story. The story is so bad. Like I will say the localization's bad. Like it's so generic. They didn't they translated it, but I feel like they didn't localize it. If that makes sense. Like they didn't add any like specific flair to it. So it's just like now we have to go to the castle. I love you, Dart. Oh, but you're just my little sister. Ha 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 ha. Or and it's like, oh, I don't think of you that way. It's like, oh god, it's so on the nose, man. I know there's people have talked about a remake of that. That game really would, I think a remake would serve that game well, just because of so many things. But I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, I started. I think 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I started playing it on my Vita, and I just remember like, man, these battles take forever because the animations last a lifetime. I don't know how far I got, but yeah, I got pretty far on it. How did we do it? Simple. I played Tales of Destiny, and I didn't have to deal with that crap.
Oh, man. Always comes out to Tails' destiny for this man.
Always.
Always. You guys were playing your Final Fantasy, and I was playing the other series.
That's right.
Speaking of Tales of Destiny, another game I always talk about, Grandia. I started playing the remaster on the PC, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's
Nice.
I mean it's running pretty well. It looks nice. There's some graphical glitches here and there. So if you want a really good JRPG that you want to play on the PC or on your Switch, Grandia. You can get it now. It's easy to get. Do it. It's a good game. Very good. It's one of the classics, and you're not going to be upset for playing that game.
Nice. Is it godlike? Is it good?
I like the level up system of that game. Because
how does it work? I don't even remember.
So okay, there's typical levels, right? But to like up your stats, you actually have to use your different weapon types. Like you look into what weapon types your characters use, and each of them have a level. And to level them up, you just use them. So you just use normal attack with like a mace, right? And then it levels up your that weapon type. And each weapon type has like a stat to it. It's like if you level up maces, you get vitality +1 and HP +1. So level those up, and that's how you level up all your level up your stats. And then magic's the same way. It's like, okay, you have your fire, your earth, your wind, and your water. And to level
and
those
your heart?
up, yeah. And to level them up, you just use the spell. So you just constantly use these spell types, I should say, and you level up those things. And each element has different stats to it, like plus MP, plus wisdom, plus magic, stuff like that. So just you using all the stuff in the game levels your character up. And holy shit, I could break that game. Because I destroy everything. Because I grind like crazy in that game. And it's not really required. It's not required at all. I just enjoy doing it.
Nice.
And like the other Grandias don't do that at all. The Grandia 2 has like spell books and mana eggs that you use special level up coins that you get from battles to level up your characters. So it's an interesting concept, but I like the first one better.
It's amazing how many times RPGs try to reinvent the wheel. It's like, okay, so you can get this little thing, and then you level that up, and then you can pass it to anybody else. Okay, and then the sword gives you abilities, and then the sword can go to different people. And then you just level up and you get abilities normally. There's like a million leveling up systems. It's like, I don't know, it's just kind of interesting.
It's interesting, but kind of hurts when you have a favorite series and then it completely changes itself. Like from Final Fantasy 7 to Final Fantasy 8 to Final Fantasy 9, each one, and Final Fantasy 10, each one's completely different.
Yeah.
I've also been playing Tactics Ogre, which is fun. Just slowly playing that.
I like how before we started, you're like, I haven't really been playing anything, and you're like, this is like the fourth game you mentioned. You've been playing more than all of us.
I haven't done the whole, I'm gonna play 35 hours of Monster Hunter Rise in 2 days, kind of thing. I'm not gonna.
Got it.
I could play more than 24 hours in one day, kind of thing.
Yep.
Can't do that anymore. I play like 30 to an hour every day because I sleep all the time because work is killer.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. And then I listened to this video because I can't watch videos at work. I listen to them about Final Fantasy Tactics. It was interesting. He was talking about how the game is super easy once you know how to play it, and how you can exploit the entire game. It's like, yeah,
I feel
good
like that's
game. Though.
every game.
I know, right? But it's just like he says that the story is the reason you play that game because that story is super, super dark and deep and cruel compared to like every other game that came out. It's Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's not your typical lighthearted Final Fantasy, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's about how Ramza, who's a highborn, figures out that the highborn are oppressing the lowborn, and how he's part of that system, and how he's trying to save face. Final Fantasy Tactics is woke, people. Can't like it anymore.
Still waiting on that sequel.
Yeah, I want. It's funny to think about that because he was talking about that, how Final Fantasy Tactics is super dark and super really enthralling politically and story wise, right? And then you go to Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, where it's like, oh, we found a book and now we're in an adventure world where no one can die. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I remember in one of my videos I mentioned how Tactics Advanced was kiddie, and so many people got offended. And then I'm like, you're literally kids that go into a children's book. That's the plot of the game. I'm like, how is that not kiddie?
No, it is super kiddie, guys. It's you got to admit it. Compared to Final Fantasy Tactics, the original, it is super kiddie because people can't die. There's no permadeath unless you go to the lawless zones, which is very rare. And yeah, it's just like, oh, we're going to go on an adventure. Here's a clan, and we're going to go on an adventure, and we're going to fight, and there's rules, and you can't hurt me, and yeah, I can't hurt you for reals, and let's just have fun. And Tactics, it's like, oh yeah, there's this evil demonic thing happening, and everywhere is corruption, and people you care about die, and it's like, okay, jeez. I tried to be very vague because I didn't want to spoil anything.
Yep, a little silly.
All right, so let's go to questions.
All right.
And first ones first, but first, lots of firsts. If you want to give us questions, go to our Discord. You can ask us there, or you can ask us on our Twitter. Just tweet us the question, and we'll answer it. All links are below.
And a word from our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh, I wish. Spaghetti asks, what's your favorite and least favorite part about editing videos?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know if this counts as editing, but I hate script writing, or the writing process. It takes forever. I'm so bad about just turning on a mic and going. I need an outline or a script or something. But then when it comes to the editing part, that's easy. It's like, all right, I got the captured footage, I got whatever, let's just go. So for me, it's the writing part. I hate that part.
Same. I hate the writing part so much that I don't even make videos. I have all these ideas in my head, but I'm like, right when I get to the writing part, I'm like, I want to play some video games. Sucks. Editing is easy. I think another part, for reals though, is when I edit, I tend to have a perfectionist mindset, so everything looks bad to me, and I have to make it perfect, and I can never get a video completed because of it. I hate that, but what it is what it is.
Yep. What's the old saying? Done's better than perfect.
Yeah.
But I hear you. I'm the same way. I always nitpick little like audio cues or like little things that like nobody's gonna notice but me. It
right?
still bugs me.
So annoying. What about you, Shadow? Anything?
Um, I guess I gotta agree with you guys on the script because the script is the first thing you have to write. So, well, for me, at least, script is what you have to write first. You have to get that together first, and then get the audio together. And I don't hate doing audio, but it's annoying when I have to record and re-record because I'm lisping or something like that, or something comes out the wrong way or something along
Mm.
those lines. Sometimes I don't really bother to fix it. Sometimes I just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm done. I don't feel like doing this anymore. Um, the editing portion could be a problem for me only because I need to go get the footage. It's kind of tough because I'll talk about multiple games in one video, so I'll need to gather footage for those types of games.
Hmm.
Like, what was the video that I just did? I forgot what it's called, but I had to get different examples from different games, from Xenoblade Chronicles, I think, to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 as well. I had a whole bunch of games I had to go and get footage for, and that might sound easy, but it's annoying when I gotta go grab the Switch, grab the game, put it in, and figure out where I need to get that footage from
Played
in
for 40
particular.
hours and then can't find the spot. Like, where is this spot? I need to record. Beat the
Yeah,
game and you still don't know where it is.
that's another thing. I don't record footage. Like I don't know how you do it, Taylor. But if you are about to review a game, how do you record the footage? Do you just play the game normally and don't record, or do you record footage after you've played the game or finished the game or whatnot?
Usually I do something like this. Usually, like depending on how long the game is, usually I'll record as much as I can from like the beginning, like skip the past the tutorials because nobody cares about that footage. But like usually I try to keep the footage to the beginning because people are so like anal about spoilers and stuff. So I try to only record a lot at the front, and then if there's like a specific thing that I need that I just didn't get for whatever reason, I'll like load the game back up and try to get footage of it. Like I think like Yakuza is a good example. Like, oh, I didn't have enough footage for like one of the mini games, so I'll like go to where the mini game is and just record for a few minutes to get some footage of that. But usually that's how I do it, and I got pretty lucky because my cousin gave me this 8 terabyte external hard drive. And so basically what I do is I try to record a lot of footage when I do a review, and then I'll dump it onto that external hard drive. And then when it comes to like game of the year time, I'll just grab clips for, if I need it again, or if I know like Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'll try to keep that on my hard drive just because I know that's probably going to come up again. So I'm probably going to need some footage from that. Um, but yeah, that's kind of how I do it.
I need to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of footage that I just keep from various games. I got like 3 or maybe 2 external hard drives that just have like the majority of it is just gameplay capture.
Oh wow, nice.
And I just I don't get rid of it because I never know if I'm making another like top video or list video that I'm gonna need
Mm,
that game. So
yep.
rather than finding the game, taking out the stuff to record, I just grab the old footage.
I think.
Or if I'm lazy, I'll just get a trailer or something.
Yeah, there you go.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'll find a video on YouTube somewhere. I'll just grab
The
the footage for it.
one of the worst things that I go through is when I do voiceovers. It's like, "Hello, welcome to my video. I like to play JRPGs." You sound like a freaking robot. I hate that. It's like, how do you? It's like, you gotta make it more natural. And for some reason, it always turns out to be a robot.
I think that just comes with practice because I mean, if you look at like a lot of my early videos or even some of my early like not even a couple of years ago, like I look back at my Final Fantasy 15 retrospective thing, that voiceover and that like oh, it's so cringy. It sounds like I'm tired or like I haven't slept in a week or something. I hate it.
Was
And
it not?
now
Was it not the like? Hey guys, welcome to the gaming shelf. Let's talk about the latest JRPG.
no, there was that, and then there was Shinkara where I was like trying to do this like I don't know what I was thinking. I like purposely made my voice high pitched because I was trying to sound like an anime character or something, and it just sounded so bad. It sounded like I don't know. It was bad. Like very quickly, I got rid of that because it just sounded so terrible.
Did you actually artificially raise your high pitch your voice, or did you do it just naturally?
No, I was like, okay, anime characters, they're usually like a couple octaves higher. So let's like try to have like a high pitched voice. I did it on purpose. But then I was like, that's stupid.
Man, what happened to the days where we used to make videos on the fly? Where it was like, all right, let's make this video. Okay. And we just did it without a script. And they always turned out hilarious.
I'll get in the mood. You know what? The thing that I really hate about YouTube sometimes is sometimes you spend like dozens of hours doing this finely crafted like review or retrospective or whatever, and then sometimes you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna fart out a video and just see what happens, and that fart out video does way better than the one you spent more time on. And it's like, God.
And then you try to recreate that magic, and it just doesn't click. It doesn't hit. Like
No.
It's weird how that works sometimes. There's like so many factors. Like when did you upload it? What kind of tags did you use? Like it's so many factors, and then it's just YouTube can just be like assholes and just not put you. I think it has something to do with YouTube and the algorithm putting you in the recommended section or something like that, and then you might see a surge or something like that. But you don't know when it's gonna do that.
No. I will say, yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'll just say this one thing. Like I know a video like a couple of weeks ago that I think in like 2 or 3 days it got 20,000 views. I'm like, this video old as fuck. How did it just come? How did it come up and get 20,000 views? I don't know how that happened. It's weird.
Out of curiosity, do you remember what video it was?
I don't remember what video. Maybe it was I know it was a list video. I don't know which one it was. I can't remember which one it was.
You know, Taylor, you know what I want you to do?
What do you want me to do?
I want you to take one of our old videos, not GSP, the videos that we used to make a long time ago. Upload it now. Make it a super fancy thumbnail, and see how it does.
That'd be interesting.
It's April. It could be like an April Fool's joke, kind of thing, because it is April. But it'd be funny just to see like you repost a really old video, maybe like the health packs or what's in the first aid spray kind of thing, and see how people react to it. Like, what the hell is this?
That would be interesting. I will say though, Shadow, the only videos that regularly get a lot of views, like I can only do this a couple times a year. I have a video that's similar to your JRPG lineup thing, and it's doing well, and those always do well for you. Those always are like your most viewed videos. And then like I have a video, it's like top 5 JRPGs of X year, and those always do really well. And then everything else, I guess because it's so straightforward, you know what it is. I have a hard time trying to make something else compelling that is either a review or just like a opinion piece or whatever. This may be getting too into the weeds. I'm sure people don't care about this, but
Nah, it's just that those videos, those type of list videos, those just do well. The algorithm loves it, and not only do the algorithm love it, people just love it. People just love seeing list videos. That's why some like YouTube channels that do nothing but list video, like top 5 this, top 5 that, they gain a lot of traction because people just like top 5, top 10s. I don't know what it's about.
Top 7 Taylor voices.
That's right. Yeah, it's like, what's his name? I'm sure you know this guy, Eric Landon. He has a JRPG channel. It's all he does is lists, and like they all do a lot of. He gets a lot of views. So it's like, hey man, good for you.
Yeah, I know that's pretty much all his channel is about, and I'm like, I'm not saying like let him try to do something else. He's not gonna get that many views, but why should he have to?
Right?
The list videos do good, and sometimes list videos, sometimes they just. I don't want to say that they're out of pocket, but that they're questionable to me, to say the least.
Top 5 characters that have green socks. Let's go.
But hey, if people like it and people are viewing it, I can't knock it. Let him do what he wants.
Yep. Right.
All right. Surreal Killer asks, Game Pass is aggressively negotiating for JRPGs and classics aplenty. Do you think that this gen is going to be taking the JRPG crown from Sony? P.S. I'm super sour that Octopath went to Xbox instead of PlayStation.
Wait, what happened? What was the question?
Game Pass is
Basically-
aggressively negotiating for JRPGs and classics aplenty. Do you think that this gen is going to be taking the JRPG crown from Sony? P.S. I'm super sour that Octopath went to Xbox instead of PlayStation. Is it on
Interesting.
Xbox or is it only on PC?
No,
it's on
it's on
Xbox.
Xbox. It's on Xbox
Yeah.
and PC, I believe. Interesting. I have a video about that coming up pretty soon, actually. Hopefully by the end of this week. But yeah, Xbox is being very aggressive when it comes to getting JRPGs on their platform, which you can't knock them. We've always said that they don't have, JRPGs or anime-esque games on their platform, and they're making the effort. What company do you not want to see make an effort to get games? That makes sense to me. They might actually have a shot at taking the JRPG title from Sony, quote unquote, because Sony has been doing a pretty bad job as of late. They shutting down game fronts. They're shutting down studios. Japan studios shut down. A lot of Japanese developers are leaving a lot of Japanese companies or leaving the company in general. Sony is just not interested in Japanese games or anime-esque games as they once were, because they just don't make the money that they want to, and the company has moved to California. It's become more of a Western-based thing. Well, it's starting to, if anything.
They're making the generic Sony third person game.
Yeah, and
Sony exclusive third person game. Let's say that.
It's possible if Xbox plays its cards right, it could take over the JRPG market because they got the deep pockets to make it happen. We already know Square Enix is behind them 100%. They may not get the JRPG day and date, but eventually it's gonna come, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, it's just it's weird to even say that Xbox has a chance considering they don't do so well in Japan. But what does it matter when pretty much like I don't want to say JRPGs, but gaming in Japan is kind of low key on a decline. Like people like the Switch more because it's portable for the most part, and portability is something that Japanese love. So it is weird that Xbox is getting these JRPGs, but hey, it is what it is. I ain't mad at it.
And they only got Octopath, right?
No. They got other games. That's what my video's good. They have like other JRPGs. They have Dragon Quest 11 now. Mm-hmm. That's on Game Pass. They have Disgaea 4, which is only on Game Pass.
Really?
On PC.
I didn't know that. Okay. Wow.
They have it on PC, Game Pass on PC, but it's still on Game Pass. So, it's kind of got asterisk there. They got Code Vein. What else they got?
Tales? I mean, Tales of
Vesperia,
Tales of Vesperia.
They got Tales of Vesperia, and they have all the Final Fantasies. Well, 7, 8,
Yakuza also.
Yakuza, yeah. So they got all those games. They're trying to fill a void that they had. You can't knock them for that. As long as they're, I guess, still appearing on other platforms, there's nothing to worry about. Once they stop appearing on other platforms, that's when you probably should start worrying and start saying stuff. But for now, they're filling a void.
It's just guaranteeing a PC port. That's all it is.
Yeah,
well, I think they're third-class citizens when you think about it, because first, like most JRPGs appear on PlayStation, then on Nintendo, hell, even PC, and then they go to Xbox for the most part. Like they're third-class citizens, but eventually they'll get it. Like I wouldn't be surprised if one day there's an announcement by NIS America saying, "Oh, the Trails of Cold Steel series is now on Xbox on Game Pass." Wouldn't surprise me in the least.
That would be wild.
That would be wild. I ain't gonna lie. And if people say, "Oh no, it's a Falcom company," and Sony and Falcom they all got these deals. Listen, man, money talks, and Microsoft got all the money in the world to throw at companies.
I mean, I could see it actually, since they're already on PC. They could go on the Game Pass on PC. Maybe not on Xbox, but on PC I could see it going on Game Pass.
If Microsoft and Xbox go to NIS America and cut the check, you think they're gonna say no?
Yeah, right.
Like seriously, come on now. Say yeah, here you go. Put them on there.
I hear what you're saying. I'm torn because I feel like you said, they're making the moves, but I still think, I don't know if it's like long-standing relationships or whatever, but like Persona is not on Xbox still, right? Like Persona's not on Xbox. Final Fantasy 16 is going to be a PS5 exclusive launch. Final Fantasy 7 Remake is still a PlayStation exclusive.
Weird.
I think a lot of games are gonna. I just think because all these studios just have a long-standing relationship. What's really weird is I don't know why companies don't put games everywhere. It's not like like Persona, right? Persona 5 Royal, that wasn't like Sony paid them. That's just they decided to make that exclusive for some reason, and I don't know why. But like 16, that's like, hey, Square, here's some money. Only put this on PS5. So there's like this weird thing in Japan where it's like some sort of loyalty, or they feel like it's not going to be worth the time spent. Because like you said, like people don't play Xbox in Japan. So it's like if they put Persona 5 Royal on Xbox, like is it even worth making that port? Because like there's probably not even enough people to like make it worth it, at least in Japan. Worldwide, maybe.
Oh yeah, worldwide, exactly. Yeah, worldwide, it might be more of an argument, business decision to do it.
Yeah, I just think it's too early at this point. I mean, there's not even been a JRPG released on PS like next gen, I don't think.
Exclusive to PS5? No, because I think if there was, I would have got a PS5 by now to play it.
Yeah, and like Demon Souls doesn't really count.
No.
You know, one, the remake wasn't even made by a Japanese studio. It was made by Bluepoint, who I think is a British studio.
Interesting.
I might be wrong on that. Bluepoint Games.
It might be.
But anyway, point being, no, they're in Austin. I'm totally wrong. Just kidding. The guy that did interviews was British, so I assumed they were a British studio. Anyway, yeah, let's like revisit this conversation in like a year or two, maybe, because it's like, all right, you know, if we get like a couple right off the bat that make me think Sony has this in the bag by default right now. Final Fantasy 16 going to be exclusive. Final Fantasy 7 Remake Intergrade exclusive. It's not out yet, but Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, that's only going to be on PS5 on next gen. I don't even know if they mentioned a PC port. I don't remember. But like those are some big games. And like what does Xbox have? They have Tales of Arise, but that's also going to be on PlayStation. Like I don't know what else they have. So
I don't know if Xbox would take over per se, but they definitely would probably be like eventually like as games that are just gonna come over there eventually. Like I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it's early, but the next Dragon Quest game will probably come out to Xbox as well as being on Switch as well as being on PlayStation. You know,
yeah.
like it'll get to the point where the Tales of games are. You know, the Tales of games, like you hear a Tales of game coming out, you know it's gonna be on PS4, you know it's gonna be on Xbox, you know it's gonna be on PC. It's gonna get to that point where it's definitely gonna be on Xbox. That's kind of what I'm saying.
Sure, that's fair. Yeah. And like you said, I mean, there's something to that that deep pocket thought, because you know Microsoft they be throwing money around right now. So
Yeah.
you know, there's been rumors for a long time that they were going to buy Sega, which owns Atlas, which that would be pretty crazy. But there's talks that like they're going to buy Discord for like 10 billion or something insane. So it's like if they can just drop that kind of money, like there's no telling what they could do.
It is interesting because like they like all those things like buying Sega or buying Discord, you know that's within Microsoft's like striking range. They could potentially do it because they got the money to do it. And you would think Microsoft would just like had dropped Xbox after a certain point in time, like after the Xbox One when it first launched and had all that bad publicity behind it. You would think Microsoft would just drop Xbox as a whole, but no, they're still backing the console. It's crazy. I mean, it didn't do terribly last gen, but it definitely didn't stand a chance against the PS5. It got overlapped by the Switch. So seems like Microsoft still think it's viable to be in the gaming market. And they're making all the necessary moves to stay there.
That's true. I mean, that's more than Google can say. I mean, Google, they didn't even give that thing a year, man. That was brutal. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna open these studios and it's gonna be crazy. Just kidding. They're really digging their feet in. They must see numbers or something. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what they're seeing, but they must see something because you're right. They're gobbling up studios. The Game Pass is going crazy. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to see, for sure.
All right. So let's do one more question.
All
From
right.
Will Kreppelin asks, what do you guys think of import sites like Play Asia and Shop4 Megastore? Do you ever use them? And if so, for what? Aside from avoiding steel books because you have a brain thing.
I feel called out. For what it's worth, I bought that on eBay, not on Play Asia. But not anymore. I mean, back on the PS3 days, it was so unknown if we were going to get a lot of these games. So like back then I imported games like Ni no Kuni before it came out, X Troopers, which is really funny because there's somebody in the Discord that's playing the 3DS version right now. But yeah, like there were a lot of these games that just never made it over. But now it's like there's so many little publishers, somebody is going to grab one of these games.
Did you import Senran Kagura?
Oh, you're right. I did import Senran. That's also true. Yeah. But that I was like, nobody's gonna pick this up, like nobody. But then, sure enough, here we are, and they're importing like the weird pinball game and
it became
the little massage
series.
game. Yeah. Weirdly enough, I'm kind of interested in that like Neptunia cross Senran Kagura game. It's got a really crazy Japanese name, but anyway, yeah, that was back in the day when it was uncertain. And if I really wanted a physical version, now I just don't care. I mean, this is me being extremely privileged. Most of the games that I want to buy, I end up getting a review code for. So I just wait and I'll eventually just get it. But they have cool figures and stuff on there. But yeah, I haven't bought from them in a long time.
I imported a ton of Tales games on there. And that's it. That's all I've done. That's like Tales, and then I bought. No, did I buy it from there? No, I didn't. And what's it called? Grand Blue Fantasy.
Oh, to get it a little bit early.
Yeah, I pre-ordered it there.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't import anymore. Like I didn't even import back in the day. I only remember importing one game. I think it's called Moe Chronicle. And it had Asian subs, and I was like, okay, it's still in English. I'm gonna import that because I honestly thought it was gonna be a rare game. Turns out that wasn't the case because it's just released on PC. So yeah, that was kind of pointless for me to even consider importing. But yeah, importing, I don't do that much anymore. I didn't do it much back in the day either. So
it was cool just being able to import, like finding out that I'm able to finally buy the Tales games that I wasn't able to get. That was a good cool thing back in the early 2000s.
True.
So yeah, that's the thing. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of this episode. Thank you for listening, watching, and doing all that stuff. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and smash that like button.
Yes, smash it.
Smash it. And yeah, we'll be back hopefully next week. Work and life gets in the way sometimes, so sometimes there's little gaps, but yeah. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Later.